Hello and welcome to Numberland. I'm number 5 and I'm sitting here comfortably with my two neighbors. These are number 4, hello, and number 6, hello. Together we would like to introduce you to our home. Sure, just as you, we also have a place to live, and we hope you feel like visiting us and playing with us. Not only is it so much fun, you also learn a lot, promise. Ready? Let's go! So we, the numbers 4, 5 and 6, would like to introduce you to our home, Number Town. It is pretty much the same with our friends, the other numbers up to 10. Let's start with our houses, because we, just like you, need a roof over our heads, right? Have a look. What do you notice about our houses? Of course, every house has its own house number. Now look at the windows. Does that look familiar to you? Yay! Our windows are laid out like a dice, so it is really neat and tidy. That way you can easily see how many windows each of our houses has, and that there's always exactly one more window from one house to the next. But 6, tell us why your windows do not look like on a dice. Well, with my house, the construction of the Numberland houses changes. All houses from 6 to 10 are 2-story houses. They have 2 floors. Below are 5 windows, above 1 window. That makes 6 total. Number 7 would have 5 and 2 windows, and so on. Why, you want to know? Because that makes recognizing the numbers so much easier for you. It's like with your fingers on each hand. 5 on one hand and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers on the other hand. In addition, over time you can learn to recognize up to 5 things at once without even having to count them individually. That's super handy. Now, let's continue with the plots on which our houses stand, with our gardens. This is what our properties and gardens look like. Each garden is different, just as each number is unique. For sure you've already noticed something? Yep, the garden of number 4 has 4 sides, 5's garden has 5 sides, the garden of number 6 has 6 sides. They are shapes, with fancy names such as square, pentagon, hexagon, and so on. Ta-da! What an easy way to learn about shapes. Shapes are pretty exciting. You can find them everywhere around you. There's so much you can do. You can collect things for our gardens and use them to decorate them. Of course, it just has to match the number. For instance, in my garden of 5, there are always exactly 5 things. As you can see, it doesn't matter what you bring or how you arrange it, because 5 is 5, whether it's blocks, counters, stones, or whatever else you find inside and outside. If you like, you can take decorating our gardens further. Where does the glove belong? Of course, to 5 because of the 5 fingers. The butterfly? 2 because it has 2 wings. The cow? 4 because it has 4 legs. Got it? But you may say, hang on, it's just 1 cow, so shouldn't it be number 1, 2? Also, the cow has 2 eyes, yet also 2 eyes and 2 ears and 1 tail. That makes 5. And that's all true. So as you see, we spot details, we reason, we discuss, and we then agree on which garden the cow is allowed to go in today. As you can see, it's so much fun to look closely at toys and everyday objects. There's so much to discover, think about, and talk about. And why not take the opportunity to learn about butterflies, draw or craft butterflies, sing butterfly songs, play butterfly active games. Even further, because butterflies are insects, they have 6 legs. So let's learn about insects. So far, we've looked at our houses and gardens. Now let's continue with our beds, our flower or planting beds. You have to know us numbers just all love gardening. See, each number has a planting bed where you can plant the most beautiful flowers, or grow strawberries, or potatoes, or carrots. You plant, water, harvest, or pick. Oh, our beds are so much fun. You can plant all the beds in the same color and see that there's always one more. With 6, it's 5 flowers in the first row and 1 flower in the second row. 5 and 1. It's just like with the windows on the house. You can even spot how many miss to make it 10. Of course, we numbers also like it colorful. Here, 4 shows 4 different colors. 5 has 3 purple and 2 yellow flowers. And 6 this time planted 5 parsley and 1 lettuce. Yes, and sometimes I don't feel like parsley, so I only plant 4 parsley and 2 heads of lettuce, or something else. Who would always want the same thing? Altogether, there are always exactly 6 plants in my bed, matching the 6 windows on my house and the 6 sides of my garden. You may wonder where our flowers or vegetables come from. Perhaps you sow them yourself, or you buy them from the nursery or from the farmer and he will deliver them to you, or you pick your flowers in a large meadow. Just play as you like. Our earthworms, also known as numberworms, thrive in these well-tended gardens and keep the soil nice and fluffy. Our little worms here are all red, but of course you could also thread them in different colors. Here are just a few ideas to play with them. First of all, can you find the right worm for each number? Maybe even just by feeling, with your eyes closed. How do they look when you put them side by side and arrange them? Which worms together can grow as long as the longest worm? What do they look like when we push the pearls apart a little? I bet you already have tons of ideas for playing Numberland, right? Yet there's even more to explore. Towers. We all think towers are great because of the beautiful view and because we can see better from up there whether that cheeky hodgy-podgy or trickster is coming. We will talk about that in an instant. To build our towers, we first collect the right amount of blocks. Perhaps they will even be delivered with the van. Before putting the towers together, we can place the blocks on the corners of our garden. Then we will see how many more we may need. Look, our towers are always 1 higher, just like the little worms are getting 1 longer. If you put the towers next to each other, it makes a beautiful staircase. Of course, you can also play around with the towers. For example, how do towers look like with different colors? How can you build a tall tower out of smaller towers? Oh, Numberland is fun, don't you think? There's so much to do and we can play with it so nicely together. And at the same time, you learn to truly understand us numbers in detail. Isn't that great? But hang on. Something is wrong here. What then? Oh no! Children, do you see that too? 4 is missing 1 flower. Now there are only 3 flowers left. The worms are all wrong and the towers are wrong too. That must have been Hodgy Podgy, also known as Trickster. You know, this cheeky person lives in the forest of mistakes. He shows up ever and again, steals something from our gardens or mixes things up. In any case, he causes a lot of confusion. You want to know what Trickster looks like? Well, he can look like this, or like this, or he remains completely invisible. Luckily, there's also the lovely forget-me-not, or the good fairy of the numbers. You can call them to help you put everything back in order. Well, that hodgy-podgy trickster or whatever he calls himself. Such a cheeky guy, yet everyone likes him. Yes, because we learn that mistakes just happen and are not the end of the world. But in the end, everything will be okay again. Plus, without him, it would be a bit boring, wouldn't it? That's true. Oh, dear neighbors, we absolutely have to introduce our fantastic large meadow. Right, let's go. We have a 10 by 10 meadow, or a field if you like. There you can plant and pick flowers, grow and harvest vegetables, potatoes and so on. Or it would be a nursery where you buy plants. And this is what happened the other day. 5 ordered 5 pink roses for the flower bed from the gardener. He went to the nursery right away, carefully collected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pink roses, delivered them to 5's home in his wheelbarrow. The gardener expertly planted and watered the young roses. 5 was so happy with the good work that he ordered and had 5 more red tulips planted. First, 5 wanted the tulips in the 5 corners of his garden. But 5 changed his mind and would rather have the tulips arranged like the windows on his house. End of story. I'm sure you have many ideas of how to play with us. What fun! You can also play each number had its own row on the field. If you then plant 1, 2, 3 flowers, etc. next to each other, you get the same beautiful stair as with the towers. You can also find out which 2 numbers add up to the number 10. They are called number bonds, or simply explore all numbers any way you like. And patterns, of course. You can lay beautiful patterns on the meadow in rows, or like this, as well as laying beautiful pictures. And symmetry. Symmetry is just beautiful and exciting. You can really experiment a lot there. Doesn't that look nice? You know what? We haven't even talked about how the children get into Numberland in the first place. That's true. Let's go. Otherwise we won't get any visitors. So how do you get to us in Numberland? Only by walking over Number Lane, of course. This is your way in and out of Numberland. So you need to learn your way around it. Otherwise you won't get in or out again. But don't worry, we play so much on and with Number Lane that you will master it easily over time. Our Number Lane starts with 0. This is very clever because that way you understand this very important number right from the beginning. We need 0 if, for example, we ate all 3 biscuits and now have none. 0 biscuits. You also stand on 0 before you start walking and counting on Number Lane. At first, Number Lane runs up to 10, and once you are comfortable with it through our many activities and games, we will extend Number Lane to 20. Why? Simply to make you familiar with the number names, because it's odd to hear 17, but you see 17. There are fun activities galore for Number Lane. For example, sometimes we turn over individual tiles to make it tricky and to challenge you. We can make dice games and decorate Number Lane, plant flowers along the way, or put pebbles or chestnuts next to it. Then we see again that a number represents a set and that the order means that it is always gets 1 more. Well, do you want to start running? Ready, steady, go! Now that we have explained our Numberland to you, you're probably curious to get to know the other numbers, right? Ta-da! There they are. Hello, dear neighbors and friends. Hello, 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 hello. You see, each number is unique, just like each of you. There we have the mischievous 0, the funny 1 with the pointed cap, the elegant 2 with the 2 feathers on her hat, or 3 and her colorful cap. 4 with the beautiful 4 pigtails, 5 and the 5 buttons that hold the vest together so nicely over the big belly, 6 with her chic spiked hair. And look at 7's t-shirt with the 7 little hearts, 8 with her 8 freckles, or the magnificent 9 teeth of 9. 10, of course, with her fancy backpack in which she can put all the numbers 1 to 9. We all look forward to your visit. Finally, we'd like to show you the entire number town at once, with all the numbers, houses, gardens, flower beds and number lane. Feel free to make your own Numberland, big or small, from whatever you have at hand. You now know how to do it. Realize your ideas and maybe even send us a few pictures. That would be neat. That's it for our little trip to Numberland. We hope you enjoyed it and you really feel like coming to visit us. See you very soon. Goodbye.